right. Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And also peace and safety to the Akim that spread across the four corners of the world, that's pushing out this truth with all diligence and putting their lives on the line to do so. And the brother Karatazar here out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. Here with the lesson, going into the topic of, being better, people, than, the people of the world, because, this world is evil, is wicked. All right, so people take on, characteristics as, the wicked, and they will do you wrongfully, but through our patience, in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and we don't have to stoop, to the level of these people in order to seek revenge or payback, for something someone may have done to us, man. That's ultimately, having trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he's going to be the one who repays you for, whatever, has been done to you, man. All right. So, without further ado, this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 41 and verse 13. It says, a good life hath but few days, but a good name endureth forever. You see, so it's all about having, a good name. All right. Just like when you read Sirach, the 44th chapter, where it says, now let us praise the famous men that begat us. These men had, a good name to where, thousands of years later, their names are still being talked about, such as Moses and Abraham, Noah, so where they still have, positive things that's being said from the work that they did thousands of years ago. All right. That's the importance of having, a good name. Now what makes you have, a good name? By, basically abiding by the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord set up for us, man. And doing the things that were commanded. The scripture says in Sirach, the 11th chapter, that it's an easy thing. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. So I can. Sirach 11 and 26. For it is an easy thing to the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. All right. So it's an easy thing for the Lord, to reward a man, according to his ways or according to his deeds, that he's upholding while he's living, man. All right. And that's, a thing that's been reiterated lately is, having the fruits of the Spirit, which is patience, long suffering, virtue, there's mention of in 2 Peter, the first chapter, man, and we just have to stick with those things, and our names are going to be held to that standard. Remember, the scripture says, that, we get fame in the land. That land is speaking of America, man. Lord willing, we be of that number, okay? But that fame is coming, all right? And not that we seek, or that's the reason why we're in this thing. That just comes along with it, to where in the kingdom, the works that the elect is doing is going to be talked about, So let me get this scripture here. First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, see none render evil for evil unto any man. All right, so we're not supposed to, repay evil, for evil. Let the Lord work it out. And this, can really, this can come by way of example too. You basically learning your lesson because you seek revenge on something that was, evil done to you. All right, look at how many people is locked up, or dead, trying to seek revenge on somebody, man. It says, but ever follow which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Rejoice evermore and pray without ceasing. You see? So, we're supposed to, follow that which is good, man. The scripture says revenge belongeth to the Lord. Okay? So it's important that we, keep certain things in our mind when we're going through these trials and tribulations, or, certain situations may, arise in your life to where somebody is doing you dirt, but hey, just be patient. Let the Lord work it out, man. There's examples in the scriptures that we have to go by, to learn of these things, or you can have your own examples, man. To where you were tried in a situation, someone may have done something, or triggered you, so to speak, but you basically ruled over your spirit, like the scripture says, man. What it says, he that is unable, to rule the spirit is like a broken city without walls. Meaning what? Hey, you're easily penetrated. It's easy for someone to move you, or for them to get you off of your block, man. An example, for brothers who into sports, for if you play basketball, right? A lot of times you may find yourself in the early stages of the game, forcing shots, and you may have a good defender on you. You forcing shots, or you forcing things. But a term that's used a lot in the game of basketball is what? Let the game come to you. Just flow. And that's what we have to. That's an example that we could use in our daily life too, man. Hey, let things just flow. And put our trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and understand that, hey, it's an easy thing for the Lord to reward you, man, according to your ways. All right, so I wanted to touch on that. Lord willing, it was edifying. We'll close up by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until the next time, Shalom.